Hi, people. Buenos dias. We're going to talk today about Spain. This is the YouTube version of the Loom presentation. If you haven't had a chance to go over to the Loom presentation, take a look at it. It's a lot of the same information. I'll also send the PowerPoint here, attach it with this so that you can see what I'm talking about as I go through these slides. I'm going to give you a lot of this same information. So the Spanish flag is red on the top and bottom with the yellow center, and the coat of arms for Spain is in the center to one side. The fast facts, here we go. The official language is Spanish. Surprise, surprise, it's Spain. The official currency is the euro. It used to be the peseta, but when they became part of the European Union, 20 years ago maybe, they phased that out and they started using the euro. Most of the countries in Europe use the euro. The capital is Madrid. They have a constitutional monarchy. That means they have a king or queen, and they have a Congress, Senate, Parliament, a group of lawmakers that are elected to make the rules and make sure they're enforced. So you have a prime minister and I think it's a Senate they call it, that's all elected officials. But then you have King Felipe VI. He is the current king. So he is the figurehead. He is the face of the government. The country of Spain takes up most of the Iberian Peninsula. Remember, a peninsula is a piece of land that juts out into the water and three sides are surrounded by water. Well, if you take a look at a map, Spain and Portugal share the Iberian Peninsula. That's the name of the peninsula. Spain takes up most of that space. It was a Roman Catholic country for a long time. Now they have religious freedom. They have a lot of different groups coming in, but many people still associate with the Roman Catholic Church. All right, a little bit of geography here. With the border with France, you have the Pyrenees Mountains. It's a huge mountain range that runs right along the northern part of the country where it meets with France. Nice winter weather up in the mountains. Here's the deal. The ocean borders, there have the Atlantic on the west and the Mediterranean Sea on the east. The Pyrenees Mountains are the north, I said that. Most of the country is like dry plateau or farmland, but there are more mountains in the south as well, and some farmlands. All right, history. Okay, here comes the, I hate to say the boring part, but it's long. Their history's long. Europe's been around a while and people have lived there a long time. The first people who lived in what we know as Spain probably came about 35,000 years ago. That's 35000. Write it down. Long. It was occupied by many different groups. The Celtic people that occupied Britain also occupied part of Spain during that time. It became part of the Greek Empire back well over almost 3,000 years ago. Then it changed hands and became part of the Roman Empire, and it stayed that way till about 500 AD. It was about 1,500 years ago. And the Visigoths, that was a German tribes from farther north in Europe, they came and they crushed the Roman Empire, including Spain, and they took it over for a while. But they only got to rule for about 150, 200 years, because then the Moors came in. The Moors were people who came from the Middle East and North Africa. They were Muslims. And so they brought a whole different kind of literature and architecture and culture with them that you can still see today, especially in the southern half of Spain. They ruled for almost 800 years. It wasn't until the 1400s when you had a Spanish king and queen come together and unite the country of Spain and kick out all the Moors, the leaders. One of the other things that king and queen are known for is sending Columbus out to find a way to China or Asia much more quickly. But we know the true story. He didn't get to Asia, he got to the Americas. Well, when people realized this, Spain started sending out more conquistadors, conquerors, to go out and claim land for Spain. They were kind of like Britain for a few hundred years there, where they were an empire. They had colonies spread out from South America and North America, uh, through Africa. I mean, they held land in a lot of places. And so they had more or less an empire going up until the 1800s, really 1800s, when a lot of their colonies gained independence. Um, the other thing to really know about Spain is that they did not take sides in World War I and World War II, because they had their own war going on in the 1930s. Right in between those wars, they had a time period where they had their own Spanish Civil War. So it wasn't that they didn't like the Germans or the British or whoever, they just had too much going on in their own country to deal with the rest of the world. All right, so that was the 1930s. Let's talk about today, because we all want to hear about today. In the PowerPoint presentation, you'll see pictures of the beach near Barcelona and the Alhambra, which is a beautiful castle. If you can't find those in the PowerPoint presentation, you can look them up, just Google them, and you'll see beautiful pictures of these places. Because it has so many miles of beaches, it's a peninsula surrounded by water, pretty much. Tourism is huge. People come to lay on the beaches. There is a warm climate. A lot of people, they'll retire there, people from around Europe, because it is so nice of a climate. They also have a lot of museums and art galleries and interesting architecture, music. I mean, there's a lot of aspects of culture there that people come to see. I mean, shoot, I spent a summer there and it was fun to see all this stuff. So tourism is big. Agriculture is also pretty big. They have a lot of livestock. They do a lot of fishing, and they have a lot of farms there where they grow fruits, some fruits and grains, vegetables. Grapes are big. There are a lot of vineyards there. Also, olive groves. Spain is the largest producer of olive oil in the world. Now, that's not all they do. They take the wool from their sheep and they grow cotton and they make textiles, clothing, and material. They also have a good bit of coal and iron that they mine, and also a little bit of copper and gold. That kind of helps. So they use that iron and steel in a lot of their manufacturing. They also have a good many businesses that do technology, computers, telecommunications, things like that. So they have a pretty healthy economy there, but just know tourism is the big one. All right, food. Some of you are right now thinking, food, I'm hungry. Two foods that are truly Spanish are paella, P-A-E-L-L-A. The L-L says yeah. Paella, which is rice and seafood with saffron on it. That's why the rice looks yellow. Pretty good taste. And then gazpacho is a type of soup. So those are truly Spanish. There are a lot of other European style dishes there, but those are truly Spanish. Now here's the part that took me some getting used to the summer that I was there, and that is the schedule on which they eat. Yeah, breakfast is 8, 9, you get to work. You work until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, have a huge lunch, and you get a siesta. That's a nap. That's really nice. The hard part is you got to wake up about 4, 5 o'clock and get back to work till almost 8. That's the hard part. And then dinner isn't till like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But you're okay because you got a nap. One of the towns in eastern Spain is famous for its tomato throwing festival, the Tomatina. If you don't believe me, Google that, Tomatina, Tomatina, and you will find pictures of people covered in tomato sauce because they are having a tomato throwing competition. It's a mess, but it's fun. All right, other forms of entertainment and sports. You've got the running of the bulls. Yes, I ran with the bulls. You've got flamenco. That's a type of music and dance that was originally brought by the Roma gypsies. They were people who migrated into Spain several centuries ago, and they brought in their own culture with them. The flamenco, the music, and the dance are part of their culture, and they became part of Spanish culture. All right, so then you have soccer. Real Madrid versus Barcelona. Those are the two main teams, and soccer's big. Football. So you have soccer. Then you have in the northern mountains skiing. Then there's soccer, and then scuba diving, because look at how many miles of coastline and ocean you have. They love their horses. The Andalusian horses come from Spain. And of course, they love soccer, and then they love bullfighting. Bullfighting is more of a tradition, kind of like the running of the bulls. It goes right along with that. And it is a tradition. In recent decades, they have changed it in many ways to make it more humane. It's not just about killing a bull, but in the end, that's what happens. That is a bull fight. So just don't be fooled. It's not pretty, but that is part of their culture. All right. Artists. There are some great artists who came out of Spain. Francisco de Goya did a lot of realistic paintings really well. And then you got some of the weirder artists like Pablo Picasso and Salvador Dali. You don't believe me? Their pictures or samples of their pictures are in the PowerPoint presentation, or you can Google them. Goya is Goya, and Picasso, Picasso. Dali, Dali. And then not only did you have painters, you had a lot of people who were good writers and architects. The Sagrada Basilica is a huge cathedral built by the Sagrada family near Barcelona. They hired an architect named Gaudi to do it, and he created this cathedral that is so unique that people will flock to see it even today. Yes, I saw it. Yes, I toured it. It was pretty cool. Gaudi died before it could be completed, though. All right, just a few more fun little facts here. Barcelona hosted the 1992 Olympics. Got to slip my Olympics in there because, we're not getting it this year. Darn. New Year's tradition for them is eating 12 green grapes at midnight for good luck. And then here's one that was the most interesting to me. The tooth fairy for them is actually a mouse. When a little kid loses their baby teeth, they put it under their pillow. The mouse comes and takes the tooth and leaves them a gift. I think I prefer the tooth fairy than a mouse, but that's what they got, so we're going to run with it. Okay, so I hope this little snippet about Spain has been entertaining. Hopefully it makes some sense, especially going with the PowerPoint. And like I said, head over to Loom to look at the PowerPoint together and check out National Geographic Kids article on Spain. They've got some great information and some things that I didn't have time to cover. So there you go. Get ready to leave Spain. We will continue our European tour on Wednesday.